Alright guys, what is up and welcome back to Be Unapologetically You, a podcast that kind of covers a little bit of everything. We kind of move on the way that we're feeling, so you never really know what you're gonna get. I know that's terrible for a marketer to say, that it's telling people sometimes that you need to niche down and do all this sort of stuff, and then I just go off the grid. And you know why? Because I've realized that business is the entirety of the person. The most successful businesses that I've been able to have the amazing opportunity to work with is based down to their personality. And this is why this episode today is called You versus You, which I think is such a significant topic to talk about. A lot of people don't really want to. They don't want to have that inner conversation with themselves that might be a little bit brutal or might be really soft and kind. You can have two sides of each coin. There's people out there that are really driven and that they use a little bit more forceful tactics to be able to get to where they want to go, but they do that in a harsher way because it gets better results for them. And then there's other people who need to show themselves kindness and softness and all this kind of stuff to be able to get where they want to go. Both of them are completely correct. Nothing's wrong. Either way that helps you become the best person of yourself is a win. Now, one thing that I've had to learn, which I hope that if you're in this situation too, I can, slightly educate you on it, is I always used to find competition with everything around me. So it would be always in competition with something else. I've said from a really young age that I've loved being the underdog. I've loved being the person that people think are not going to win, because it just fuels my fire. It makes it a competition for me. It makes it more kind of like, well, I want to prove people wrong. There was some point in my life, especially recently, so this is like a recent sort of like feeling and justification for it, but recently I have kind of taken my foot off that gas pedal of always thinking that, you know, someone's out to get me, there's a competition here and stuff like that. And the reason is because I know what I'm doing. I don't need to prove that to someone else. I have clients that have super success stories and are living their best lives and living their true selves and all this kind of stuff. And I have been a part, whether big or small, in that process. Before, when I was an underdog, I kind of didn't think that I was good enough. And that's why I kind of had that underdog feeling, I guess. I just consistently was like, nobody thinks that I'm going to do it. I also don't know if I can do it. So now there's some fuel in that fire to get me going. The difference is now is it's more the scalability. I do know what I'm doing. I have proven strategies that work, especially in business, and it's just doubling down on it really, and just being able to do something a little bit different from what everyone else does. I mean, I do it with my clients. I work a little bit differently than probably most marketers or business influencers. Ooh, I don't like that word. I don't like calling myself a business influencer. Ew. No, just a business person. Let's just go with that. That slipped out. And to be totally honest, the only thing that really matters when it comes to you, yourself, and your business is trying to do that 1% extra every single day. It really is. It's not these huge leaps and boundaries that you need to cross over every single day to be successful. Sometimes it's a tiny step forward. It's a little bit of movement. It's asking that extra question, doing that extra piece of content or work or whatever. It's the tiny little things that people deem as insignificant, but they compound over time and really push you in the right direction. I've been doing this now for 7-8 years, and only really in the last, I'd say 12 to 18 months have I been able to just focus on the 1%. Beforehand, I was like, I need to run at 110 miles an hour. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. You know, you have to work 20 hours a day, but I wasn't as productive as I should have been. So now it's a little bit different because I'm chasing the 1% instead. I'm chasing the micro movements that have massive gains. There's also a bonus that when you stop thinking about what everyone else is doing, you start focusing on what you're doing, and that makes a huge difference. So if you're always watching, let's say his name is Derek. I don't know why Derek's always the first one that I go with. Let's say he's called Derek, and Derek's doing 6 figures in sales a month and has a huge content team and has a business mentor that, you know, charges him 10k a month or something like that, and you're not. You're still doing everything yourself. You hire someone to help you with the content. You have a business mentor that's costing you, I don't know, maybe 300-400 quid. And you're looking at Derek. Well, guess what? Derek is not where you are, and you are not where Derek is. So if you stop putting that sort of weird, kind of like that weird obsession that people get of looking at people like massively ahead of them. Yeah, it's good to do stuff like that in the sense of this is what you aspire to be, but you're not there right now. So work on the things right now. I talk about this all the time. Control your controllables. Control what you can control, and what you can't control, don't. Just don't. It's not your problem. Some people get so hooked on like making sales. Let's take it to Emerge Elite for a minute. I was at one point so hooked on sales, I didn't care how I got them. I was tenacious in a horrible way, and it wasn't pretty or smart or got me more clients. It really didn't. It just made me obsessed with making orders. Then I changed the tactic. I started focusing on what the things I could do, and what I started doing was bringing people into the environment. I started showing people what I get up to every single day. What, you know, like even here, the new joggers, like I'd be showing them on lives and stuff like that and being like, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. And bringing people into the conversation in the things that I control, that I can control, gave me more business. So like now using that sort of marketing strategy where I'm more in front of the camera and I'm more active with it myself, not asking someone else to do it, active myself, has gained me a much bigger audience. So, and then we can move it into a different direction. I could move it into bodybuilding. When I first started bodybuilding, I was petrified, really, to be totally honest, because I was watching every other girl around me and they were freaking massive, to be honest, compared to me. And I was just like, I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to look like an idiot on stage. And I kept talking myself out of it because I was like, I'm too tall and I'm too lean. Well, guess what, sunshine? Those are two things that I cannot control. I can't suddenly whack on 6 kilograms of freaking muscle overnight. I had what I had, and this is what I was working with. And to be honest, when I was stepping on stage, I had a whole different goal to it. I wanted to step on stage because not too recent, that's the wrong way to say it. You'll find out that I mess up my words all the time. Fairly recently, I found out that the ability for me to walk was limited. I had a lot of pain in my legs a lot of the time from rupturing my Achilles, from all this sort of stuff. You know, in the winter especially, my legs do really suffer. It's not something that anyone can really notice anymore, but it is a problem for me. And I wanted to step on stage to do a sport again and to basically stick my middle finger up to people who thought that I wasn't going to be able to become competitive again. I played football beforehand and I ran, and it was quite sad to have to leave that to an extent, but I just went and found another sport. But then when I started watching everyone else and I stopped looking at why I was doing it and I started looking at to the environment around me, it got really toxic. It got really toxic in my brain because I was then looking at what everyone else was doing instead of focusing on why the fuck I was doing it in the first place. The things that I can control. These girls were like 5'2" and had a bigger bone density to me and muscle mass. They did. A lot of these girls had, you know, even though that they were first timers, they'd been training for a lot longer than me in that sport. I'd been a cardiovascular person before then. I was a lean bean. Muscle was not my thing. So like even now, like as I'm in a bulk and stuff like that, I have to get super comfortable with the fact that I am not going to walk around like a tank. I'm just not. It's just really not in my DNA unless it's fat. But at a time I let everyone else dictate how I felt about the situation, and that's what you really shouldn't be doing. And that's why I always think that you should go inwards with things like this. It's you versus you. So whether you are trying to lose weight or gain muscle or get ready for a show or some sort of competition or start a business or anything like that, have that conversation with yourself, not with everyone around you. They can give you opinions and that's absolutely fine. Invest into your friends and your family and stuff to get an opinion. But at the end of the day, it's all about you. It is really all about you. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's really selfish because you should think about everyone else around you. Not exactly. It's your life at the end of the day. And I know I've said this before, and it either goes one way or the other. People either agree with me or they don't, and that's absolutely fine. But I really, really do think that your happiness and what you want to do should be paramount in your life. A lot of people forget about themselves in different situations. So they start doing something because someone else told them to do so. I remember when I first started investing in a business mentor, the first piece of advice that he gave me, he didn't stay for my mentor for very long, just FYI. The first piece of advice he gave me is said, make enough money so you don't have to wash your car or clean your house. And that was it. So he was like, you need to be able to afford 100 quid a month to have your car cleaned and 150 quid to have your house cleaned or something like that. And he was like, because these are stupid things that are not productive and they don't do anything for you. Now, I'm going to let you in for a fun fact. I love washing my car. It's really relaxing for me and I really enjoy it. It's actually, for me, a way to relax. And cleaning my house is, I like to make sure that I'm touching my own things. I don't want someone else to clean up after me. I'm a full grown adult. And these are two things that's my environment that I've grown up in. And I take severe pride in that. I remember thinking after that call, just being like, well, if I started doing that, I'd be miserable. And if I'd listened to that opinion, yeah, okay, great. I'd have a clean car and a clean house without having to do it myself. But would I be happy with that? I mean, there probably may be a point where I don't have time to do it anymore and I'll find different ways to relax. I know cleaning your car in a house is not everyone's cup of tea in relaxing. But, you know, like things for me is I'd much rather be able to have someone put my laundry away. I know that sounds silly, but that for me is better. And that's why, like, opinions are opinions. Finish off this episode. It's kind of driving towards stop allowing everyone's opinion to get the better of you. So if you are listening to other people's opinions and you're influenced by their opinion, you're allowed to do that. But do have that conversation with yourself as well, especially if you're taking a leap into a direction that you're not aware of. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and you're doing it for your reasons. And also, if you decide to change that reason, you know, like sometimes people start bodybuilding, find out it's not for them, and then they quit. And then you have a bunch of people around you go, oh, I knew she wasn't going to do it anyway. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them right off. Like, that's just people who are just like, their negativity consumes them. And we have enough negativity in the world. So we need a little bit more positivity. So yeah. Don't let people influence you that much. Thank you so much for joining in on another episode of Be Unapologetically You. I would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or if you want me to answer anything in particular, something that's on your mind that you think, I don't know, maybe my little brain could talk about for a little bit, happily slide in my DMs. You can find me on Instagram at Emily E. Topping. And I can chat for England. So to be honest, you know, just give me whatever. Have a great day. I love you.